What's up YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full Mew team. This one is for Patreon. If you want your theme team done, you can check it out in the description of the video under the Patreon link. Elder Cleric, this one is for you. So they wanted 6 Mews in a team. Now Mew has got a very, very big move pool. And it's quite a good Pokemon because, as you know, it's got 100 base in all stats. So I really had to nerf these down and make something quite difficult to use, which I really had no problem doing. Leave those theme teams in the comment section below, people. The highest thumb up comment will be the winner. Alright, so I battled Kath with this team. She obviously didn't know what I was using, so it was quite amusing. Now we have a Slowbro lead here, and I'm leading with Mew. I bet you never saw that one coming. So this first Mew, let me run through it. I've got a Gyro Ball, Trick, Power Up Punch, and Retaliate. Now this Mew has a Iron Ball, obviously there to power up the Gyro Ball. Unfortunately, I got a Wiki Berry, and the Iron Ball is actually going to help out the Slowbro because it's got freaking Trick Room. Obviously, I actually got a couple of kills with the Gyro Ball Mew. I'd Power Up Punch the incoming speedy Pokemon, then Gyro Ball them, and if it was a Pokemon who really needed that item, I'd just trick out the the Iron Ball to them, and it'd be quite handy, and I could also swap it in and use Retaliate. Anyway, so things are not going very good at the moment. Swapping out into my next Mew, which is, I've just got these sets up at the moment because I had to remember them all to tell you what the sets were. So this set was super complex. This was a Transform Mew. Now Mew gets transformed, which is pretty cool. So the item I thought bringing on it, instead of bringing Choice Scarf, which is what most Transform users would probably use, I decided to put Quick Claw on it. Now I get the Quick Claw boost on the Tyranitar. I'm able to take it out with a low kick, so this is really good. I was able to take out the Tyranitar, and a lot of the Pokemon on her team I was very strong with a Tyranitar. Okay, so now we have Chandelure coming in here. I was like, well, this might have Flame Body or Focus Sash or something. I'm not sure. Going for the crunch anyway on that, and that's going to be heaps to take it out. It doesn't have an item that's like Focus Sash, and it doesn't seem to have Flame Body. I wasn't sure if it did. I did actually ask Kath after, and she did actually say that it was Flash Fire. Okay, now we have the Slowbro coming in. There's not much I can do to this other than go for Crunch. I know that it's going to do a lot of damage, but it's not quite enough to take it out. Slowbro has very bulky defensive stats as well. I can actually get a defense drop, which is nice there too. Now the Slowbro is going to go for the Skull, which is super effective. Doesn't take me out. However, it burns me, which really sucks there because that is going to definitely stop my Mew sweep happening there. I thought I could actually get a sweep with this set. That would be so funny. Anyways, this is going to be enough to take out the Slowbro. I went for Crunch. However, she's going to swap out her Slowbro there. So I'm like, okay, it's probably got Regenerator. So she's probably going to swap it in later on and get a little bit of health back. However, the Gigalith comes in here, and I'm going to Crunch that on the incoming. Does absolutely nothing to it. Like, Gigalith's got really nice bulk as well. Okay, so I'm on my last legs here with my Tyranitar. I get the Quick Claw activated again, going for the low kick, obviously, because that's super effective. Now, that does fair damage there. It would have been nice to see that without the bird. Then the Gigalith is going to have weakness policy. I'm like, oh dear, this is really bad. So that's going to boost his attack, obviously. Now it's going to go for the Heavy Slam, and that is my Mew down. But Mew did some nice work there, that Metro Mew. Sorry, not Metro Mew, the Transform Mew. Okay, trying to keep up with all the sets I had. Okay, speaking of which, swapping in my next Mew. Now, this Mew, which was this one? Going through my moves. This was obviously this was the Trick Gyro Ball one. So going for the Gyro Ball there, man, that does so much damage. I can't believe how much it does. Gigalith goes for the explosion. I was like, well, this is really good because that Mew was basically dead after, it was just dead weight on my team. There's nothing it could possibly do. So the outcome of that was pretty good. Like, Kath could have kept sweeping me there. That was pretty good for me. Okay, so my Mew is down. Didn't do too much in this battle, but it does come back in the next one. Now, guys, you got to watch at the end of this video. There's an absolutely incredibly funny battle. You got to stick around for the whole thing in the bonus battle. It's funny. Okay, so we have the Slowbro again. Now, speaking of Metronome, this is the Metronome Mew. This is only attack. Its item is a Leopard Berry. Going for the Heavy Slam, unfortunately, which is not going to be enough to take out Slowbro. I'm like, please, let's take this Slowbro out. I get a crit there, which totally mattered. Now, Slowbro is going to set up the Trick Room again. I should have known earlier on that Kath was going to run Trick Room with that Iron Ball. Anyways, so it's going to go for the Shadow Ball Heat, which is not going to be good because that's strong against all my Mews. Here. Anyway, so going for the Metronome again. Fingers crossed that I get a move that's going to be enough to take it out. And I get Gust. I'm like, no, what is this? So I'm sure that move really blew you away there. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to take out the Slowbro. Slowbro is going to go for yet another Shadow Ball, and that's going to take out my Mew, unfortunately. So that sucks. The problem with this team, right, is Dark types, Ghost types, Bug types. It was getting swept all over the place. Plus, I wasn't using nowhere near like really super try-hard competitive sets. Anyway, so swapping in my next Mew. Now, this Mew, scrolling through my sets, getting hit by a Shadow Ball in the process there, which was wonderful. I got a special defense drop. Stuff like this doesn't even surprise me anymore. So this was a Nature Power Normalium Z set with Reflect type. Now, the idea here was to come across a normal type Pokemon. It was very, very situational, of course, and use Reflect type. Now, what Reflect type does, it copies the opponent's typing. So it gives you that. So I was going to get myself into a normal type, then use Tri-Attack and the Normalium Z Tri-Attack. Okay, so Rampardos is going to come in and use Crunch on my Mew. I'm like, oh, this is so bad. So the Twisted Dimensions turned to normal, which was really good. Swapping in my Mew here. Now, this was my offensive Mew with Timid, and it has a really cool berry. Focus Miss, misses. I'm like, no, this can't happen. Then I've got my berry, my Cobra Berry, which is going to power down Crunch, and I'm like, sweet. I've got one more shot to end this Rampardos. This is really good. I'm able to get through this. Focus Blast hits this. I'm like, yes, this is really cool. I've only got one more Pokemon to take out. And guys, I get freaking minimum damage. I'm like, what? No! And then it's going to go for Crunch and take out my Mew. My last Mew is this crazy ass set, which I'm going to explain in the next battle because there's going to be no point explaining this one because it actually didn't get to attack. Rampardos is going to be out. Spin me and Trick Room on like a dick of health. It's a Spite set, but I didn't get to show the whole thing off. So making its move, Crunch, like 4 PP there. And it's going to go for a Rock Slide against me, doing a lot of damage. There's no attacking moves I can do to this at all. It doesn't have any attacking moves. I'll run through the set afterwards. But that moment, right, that Focus missed on the Rampardos first turn. And then it was a 68%, I really wanted to say 69%. 68% of actually one hit KOing the Rampardos. I'm so salty about that. Anyway, so Rampardos is going to go for a Crunch. And as I said, there's nothing I can possibly do here. Anyways, I was having, you're probably thinking, well, this had rest, but it actually didn't. I'm not running rest sleep talk. Now, I actually was able to meet a fan, I guess, if you want to call it, in real life today. We were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all things. I haven't played that for years. Now, we were discussing, right, what theme team I was going to put up tonight. I was like, and the first thing he says, it made me laugh so much. I bet you, well, we both know there's going to be a rest sleep talker Pokemon, and there actually wasn't, so that was really funny. So shout out for Chris. We had some good fun today playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, anyways, so we have a battle against Useman Blue there. I'm so salty about that first battle, though. I had that one in the bag. The last Pokemon Kath had was a Maractus, and I could have spited that easy. Kath's so spiteful. Anyway, so swapping out my first Mew. You've already seen that one. Sending in my second one. Now, this was a Dragon Dance Corphish. I didn't really particularly want to be swept by a Corphish, so I had to do something. So I brought in my Transform Mew, which helped me so much out the next battle. That Quick Claw activates again, and I'm able to transform into... There's such a big long pause after Quick Claw. So I'm going to activate that and transform into the Corphish. Now, this was a Dragon Dance Corphish set, so I had all the typical moves like Crab Hammer, Aqua Jet. So that was really nice. I was like, I might be able to get a Corphish sweep. So copying those stats... there. Now, the Corphish is going to go for another Dragon Dance. So I was like, ooh, I've got to take this one out. It clearly has an item. Like, I'm guessing here it definitely has Focus Sash because, it wouldn't go for another Dragon Dance otherwise. So going for knockoff there, doing a lot of damage, and it's got Focus Sash. Now I'm going to go for the Quick Claw here, and I get the Quick Claw Aqua Jet. I think they may have been going for Aqua Jet too, so that was enough to take out the Corphish. That was really good, I was able to copy those stats and get a Corphish with like lots of attack and some really good coverage moves. All right, now we have the Kavana coming in, so like, oh god, this is going to be really bad because Kavana can have speed boosts and it's got Crunch too, so I might get swept by a Kavana. Anyway, so Kavana's going to go for the obvious Protect there. There was no point in me swapping, obviously. I went for Crab Hammer because that was the best move I could possibly do against it. High base power and stuff. It gets the speed boost up, so I knew that it'd be outspeed here. I thought about going for Aqua Jet for a while, but I thought, nah, let's just tank it and stay in. It's going to be a special Kavana going for that scummy Ancient Power boost. It doesn't happen. It's also got a Life Orb there. So I'm going to go for the Crab Hammer, which is going to be loads, and that's going to take out the Kavana. Kavana's got like 2 defense, so it's not obviously going to live that one. And I've got some nice boosts. Okay, so things were going absolutely excellent at the moment. Like, I couldn't hope for better things till this came out. Now it's going to go for the Night Slash here, which is super effective against for all my Mew. But I did have something to get around it. So I get credited. But I don't think that actually mattered because Corphish is... It's not exactly what you call the bulkiest Pokemon in the world. Alright, so swapping in my next Mew. Like, I've explained all of these sets except for one. When it gets to this point, I'm going to explain it. It's a very, very mean set. So Drapion's going to swap out. Now we have the Blastoise coming. Now this was, I went for the Normal-and this was the Reflect type Nature Power set, right? I was just thinking about a comment someone left on my video, like last night. You know how I always say, like, this was a really long battle, like something else? Someone comments on my video, right, and they're like, for fuck's sake, Pimpnite, we know you've got a massive slong. Stop telling us about it every video. Like, I laughed for a full 5 minutes about that. That was so funny. Anyways, back to the video. So, we got a Mega Blastoise, which I never saw coming. Now, this Mega Blastoise was a real pain in the ass. It's very, very bulky, obviously, after Mega Evolving. My main objective here was to go to much hacks as possible. I get a Para Hacks and was like, yes, that's really good. That's going to help me out heaps. So I was hoping that it didn't have like Dark Pulse. That would be really, really bad. With its ability, obviously that's going to absolutely wreck me. Going for another Tri-Attack. This was a 3-hit KO. Now the idea with Reflect type is pretty cool because it gives you, Z Reflect type gives you a +1 in special attack. And you also copy the type. Unfortunately, it's going to be a rest... well, I knew after seeing rest it'd be a rest sleep talk set. So we didn't have a rest sleep talk on my team, but however, the opponent had one, which is wonderful. Anyway, so they're going to swap out, and we have the next Pokemon come in, which is the Gabite. So I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. This should do a fair amount of damage to, Gabite isn't exactly the bulkiest, but it takes it like super, super well, like way too well. Like, damn, son, this must be like a max health Everlight, max special defense Gabite. I'm like, damn, that took it so well. So it's a 4-hit KO. Then it's going to go for Sand 2. I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing. So obviously it's a trapping Gabite. This part I did speed up a lot because this was it was a Dragon Rage trapping Gabite, and it's going to have Rest and Sleep Talk too, so they had another Rest Sleep Talk Pokemon. So this is my punishment, people, for not bringing a Rest Sleep Talk Pokemon. Anyway, so they're going to get their moves and not get Rest, unlike me, who always gets Sleep Talk and Rest. Spamming Tri-Attack because obviously Sand Tomb traps me in, so I couldn't do anything there. And I'm eventually, inevitably, going to go down to this Mon. But it was a nice strategy. I love trapping Pokemon. And that Dragon Rage was just that fixed 45 damage. I mean, you could use another move, but it works too. So, fortunately for me, the Sand Tomb actually runs out, but that Mew is on its last legs. I was thinking about maybe swapping into something else. Just a really powerful move that I might have needed to get rid of it later on. Anyway, so it's going to go for Dragon Rage again, getting the Sleep Talk Rest, doing that fixed 45 damage. Now, so they're going to actually swap out, which I really wanted them to stay in, right, because I was using this Mew that I was explaining afterwards. At the end of the battle. So I'm going to trick, which is going to fail. I wanted to get rid of the Everlight. That was my, I was like, I can get rid of this Everlight, then I can, this can be quite easy to take out. Unfortunately, Blastoise is going to be a Rest Sleep Talk set too, and it's going to use it fucking attract, but Mew is not going to be attracted. Going for Power Up Punch, I was like, bugger it, let's get as much damage onto this Mew, this Mega Blastoise as possible. All these Mews, it's not very amusing. Anyway, so going for Power Up Punch, that's the best move I could do. Like, Gyro Ball wasn't exactly going to, do much. I thought I could go for a couple of Power Up Punches, then maybe go for Retaliate to get some kind of damage off of the thing. Anyway, so Scald is doing lots of damage to me there. I'm running a more offensive set on this one. That's why I did so much. Anyway, so Power Up Punching as much as I possibly can. And Blastoise is going to be waking up this turn and going for a Scald. Unfortunately, Mega Blastaise's base special attack is still quite powerful, even when all the stuff's invested in health and special defense or defense. I'd say this Blastoise was like a max health, max defense set, or it could have been like split, I'm not sure, but it was very, very annoying to deal with. So anyway, the Mew is going to go down to my trick Gyro Ball Mew. Hello, darkness, my old friend again. Anyway, so with that Mew, right, I actually got a really cool kill on Tapu Koko. It came in, thought it could be a smartass and go for Thunderbolt. I just absolutely dominated with Gyro Ball. Anyway, so swapping in the Mew, finally I get to explain this you guys this set. This is probably my favorite set. Sorry, this is the wrong Mew. Fuck, this is the wrong Mew again. This is a special Mew. Now the problem here was, right, even with my special Mew, this is the Culver Berry one, right? I'm trying to remember all these Mews. It's so difficult here because obviously I couldn't nickname them, so I can't. Normally, with all these teams, I'll nickname like, example Mew 1, Mew 2, Mew 3. So the only things giving away is the health EVs and stuff in the stats. Okay, so finally realizing I can't do absolute crap to this Gabite, I need to shut it down completely. So it's going to go for another Sand Tomb. Mew is actually going to avoid the attack. They swap out here. I'm like, no, I want this thing down. Now, the Blastoise is going to come in here, so I was like, well, that's not too bad. They're both quite stally Pokemon. So, the idea with this set is to block them in. I did like a full high five then, if you didn't see that. So, this set was a block Mew set. I've got Spite on this, and I've also got Taunt, and I've got Roost. So the idea is to block them in, and then start taunting them so they have to attack, then spite down their PP. So eventually they get to a point where they have to use Struggle. Now this set was more of a 5-slot Syndrome set because I really wanted to run Toxic on this, and I also really wanted to run Torment so they couldn't keep attacking me with the same move. It was a very, very mean set because you could trap them in right and literally just roost up, get rid of all their PP with Spite. It's taking 4 away, and you know, if they only had something like, say, a low PP move like Giga Drain or something like that, they were going to be hitting themselves with Struggle, and if they had like Rest Sleep Talkers, it was perfect. This was such a good strategy to take it out. This bit I sped up by 4 times because it was such a long bit. Alright, so Mega Blastoise is going to go down to the Struggle. Mission complete, people. That was awesome. So unfortunately I wanted to do that to the Gabite, but it didn't quite happen. I got the Blastoise there. I was happy with that. Okay, so in comes Cookie. I'm going to swap out my Mew there, and I'm going to bring in my other Mew, which is already on 6 health, which is basically useless. And that's going to go down to Rock Slide, which is fine because it pretty much did all its work that could really do in this battle. There wasn't much that it could actually do. Anyways, so we have the next Mew coming in here, which was this was the special attacking one. So this is the max speed, max special attack, Colbur Berry one. Ugh, seriously, 1 health. What the fuck? Seriously. Anyway, so the Kingler's going to get agility off. Lives on a dick of health as usual. Never saw that one coming. So I thought, well, I didn't really want to lose this Mew at the moment. So I was like, let's swap in the Metronome Mew. All I've got to do is get like fucking Tackle or something, and it's going to go down. Anyway, so we have the Kingler going for the Rock Slide, boosted by Sheer Force. And that does just under half health. So I'm like, well, if I'm not unlucky and don't get flinched and don't die the next turn, I might be able to get an attack off. Now, I'm able to just live this one on 4 health. And I'm going to go for the Metronome here with the Leopard Berry. And swinging my finger, guys, I get that stab, heart stamp hype. And I'm going to give Cookie a kiss on the lips. And that's a critical hit, which we all know mattered. And Kingler is down. That was the best Metronome luck I got out of this Mew. Out of the whole time. Guys, I've got to do that Metronome Team number 2. I've got to do that sometime. Alright, so in comes the Drapion. Oh my god. And uses Fell Sting. I'm like, oh, just end me right now. So it's going to get a +3 in attack. Like, holy shit. Not that it wasn't already a threat anyway. So I had one last chance to beat this. So I've got my the same Mew as before with the Colbur Berry. Going for the Focus Blast here. It misses. I'm like, no, serious? Are you serious? Now the Drapion's going to go for another Fell Sting against Mew. And I live. I'm like, what the I seriously just lived that one. Now going for another Focus Blast. It hits this time. I'm like, yes, this is really good. This should do some solid damage. And unfortunately, people, that Focus Blast. And I got a special defense drop just to rub in the salt. This is like deja vu of the first battle. It was the same Mew and it was Focus Blast. Oh, I'm so salty. Like, there was absolutely nothing I could do. Like, I could have been able to take out the Drapion there if the first Focus Blast hit. The last Pokemon is the Mew, which was the Spite one. So, unfortunately here, I've already taken half my health. And this thing is +6 in attack, and it's going to be able to take me out with a Fell Stinger. Oh my god, this team, seriously. Oh, guys, just do me a favor, please. Watch the bloopers. It was absolutely amazing. Peace out.